Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursday. So today we are going to have a really good conversation because I have received so many messages, so many DMs requesting, that I compare a couple of fragrances or that I just answer the question of which of these two fragrances do I prefer. And today I have for you quite the number of fragrances that we're going to talk about, but this is going to be really quick because typically I go deep into the review of the fragrance, but all of these fragrances have already been discussed here on the channel. I just wanted to come on here today and answer your questions. So I have pulled from my Middle Eastern fragrances collection all of the fragrances where you asked me to compare it to another. And I'm not going to give you a detailed review because I've already given you the review, but you do have the question of, well, these two fragrances, I like both of these fragrances and they seem to be a tad similar, not necessarily the same scent profile, even though some are, but they tend to be a tad similar. So Arahi, could you please tell me which one do you prefer? Which one do you think? So today I'm just here to give you my personal opinion. I'm sure that you know that many times I do review a fragrance and I try to do it in an objective manner because it's not necessarily a fragrance that I really, love, but you have requested that I review it, and I do tell you that I do enjoy it or that I like it, but that it's not a love. But all of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today are really loves. And, I'm not necessarily going to tell you to buy this one and not that one. In some instances, I may, but at other times, I'll just tell you, if you're looking for this, then maybe this is the one that you should pick. And if you're looking for that, then maybe that's the one that you should pick. Anyway, I hope all of that made sense. So I'm going to stop with the rambling and let's go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with what has to be the most requested answer to a question that I have received. Once I reviewed Indomitable, it was like the floodgates open. I received so many DMs asking me if it was the same as QUATRE 4, and of the two, did I think that they did, kind of smell the same, and of the two, which one did I prefer? So I am going to speak about that today, and I have to tell you that the thing about Indomitable is that it is a fragrance that really adds joy. There is just something, I don't know what they put in here because none of these fragrance houses are really disclosing all of the notes involved in a fragrance. I am convinced because every day I am picking up more and more notes that I know are present, not just in Middle Eastern, but also in designer and in Western niche. I'm picking up notes all the time that allegedly don't even appear in the, in the note structure of a fragrance. Now, when I first reviewed Indomitable, I felt a certain kind of way about it. I have always loved it. I still do. And one thing I forgot to say in the opening is that as I go along with these fragrances, some of them have had a chance to sit for a bit now, and I may feel a bit more enthusiastic about some of the accords and some of the things that I pick up on it. And at times I may not like some of the things that I'm starting to pick up, but I am telling you, all of these fragrances are loves. Now, between these two, here's the thing. To me, there is no right or wrong between these two. There really is not. They are in a very, very similar scent profile. Truly, they are. But what I will tell you is that to me, QUATRE 4 is more of a citrusy, zesty kind of fragrance, while Indomitable is really a citrusy, fresh fragrance. Do they both have that freshness? Yes, but Indomitable wins the freshness category. Now, is Indomitable like a freshie that borders on leaning masculine? No, it is not. It really is not. It is, again, a fragrance that to me is summer in a bottle. This one is summer in a bottle to me too, but this one is much more. This one is definitely zesty because it's got all of the citrusy notes and the zesty accords going. In Indomitable, you're going to find a citrusy fresh. The clementine is very marked here for sure. And as it's had a chance to sit, it has increased. So that should answer your question. Of the two, which one do I prefer? If I had to pick one, I would definitely pick Indomitable. It's just that, you know, while I absolutely love QUATRE 4, I love it. If not, it wouldn't be in my collection. I would have decluttered it. The thing about Indomitable is that it really does bring joy. You know, it automatically puts me in that warm, beautiful summer day mode. There's just, I'm telling you, something about this fragrance. All right, so a question that I get all the time, and this is like every day, multiple times, inevitably, right, is the question between the Vanilla 28 fragrances, the Vanilla 28 inspired fragrances that have been launched recently. And I'm going to tell you right now that there's only two that I highly recommend that I think are just exceptional. And I would have to say that they are Paris Corner Eshal and Fragrance World Alicia Vanilla. Now, these two fragrances really, really have been inspired by Vanilla 28, okay? And for me, it is so hard to pick one over the other. What I will say is that Fragrance World Alicia Vanilla has been in my collection a couple of months, if not more, just sitting than Eshal. But as soon as I sniffed Eshal, guys, I knew that it was inspired by Vanilla 28. It is really exceptional. But because Alicia Vanilla has had a chance to sit for a longer period of time in my collection, and as you can see, the juice has even, you know, deepened a bit more, I can tell you that Alicia Vanilla is definitely giving me more Vanilla 28. But at that, let's put aside the inspired by and let's talk about the fact that these two are exceptional foundational vanilla fragrances. If you are looking for a foundational vanilla fragrance that is affordable and that performs exquisitely and that delivers the scent and that you can layer with any other fragrance in your collection that you want to add that note of vanilla to, these two, you cannot go wrong with any of these two. But since you've asked me to continuously pick one, which one of the two right now, because it's had a chance to sit longer in my collection, I'm going to go with Fragrance World Alicia Vanilla. But I have to tell you that Eshal is a love just as much. But, you know, because of that difference in having the chance to sit, I would have to say Alicia Vanilla. So I hope that that answers your question in some kind of way, because I really can't pick one over the other because they really both are exceptional. All right, so another very frequently asked question is between two musk fragrances. And I think that there's some confusion here because they are both from Gulf Orchid, but one was launched last year and it's had a chance to sit for quite a good amount of time in my collection, and the other one was launched this year, and it is between Angel Musk and Tahara Vanilla. Now, while Angel Musk is definitely a fragrance, a musk based fragrance, it is a musk fragrance, believe me, they both are. But while Angel Musk does have vanilla, I would say that Tahara Vanilla is vanilla centric and Angel Musk is not. But let me also start by saying that, as you can see, my Tahara Vanilla juice is no longer white. It used to be white, almost kind of transparent, but it's had a chance to sit. So now the juice has picked up that hue. And it is unbelievable, okay? It is unbelievable. You are going to have the most beautiful, I mean it, musk-based vanilla-centric fragrance. Now, when it comes to Angel Musk is not the same type of scent profile that you find in Tahara Vanilla. Tahara Vanilla is really all about the vanilla and the musk. Angel Musk is more of like a gourmand musk, right? Where you have quite a bit of vanilla. But in here, there's clearly Vaneno, there's clearly dried fruits. You are going to get a beautiful rose note, and you are going to get that very strong musk presence because this entire collection from Gulf Orchid on an annual basis is designed to be really about, you know, a musk, a very strong musk-based fragrance. Both of these are exceptional if you're looking for a vanilla-centric musk fragrance to the tune of a level 4 or 5 musk without it being animalic. Then Tahara Vanilla is the one you should go for. If you are looking for a musk fragrance that is a gourmand where vanilla plays a key role, then Angel Musk is your pick. All right, now this next one. From the moment that I reviewed the first one, there were 50 questions, and those questions were around the fragrance that it is allegedly inspired by, which it is. And then I reviewed the second one, right, that I'm going to be talking about. And the questions then transformed into which one of those two should I pick up. So let's talk about it. I'm speaking about French Avenue Vulcan Faux and of course, Lattafa Opulent Dubai. Let me just start by saying that both of these fragrances have been allegedly inspired by Stefan Humbert Lucas' God of Fire, which is a fragrance that I own and that I absolutely love. Now, to me, there really is no right or wrong between picking these two. This one has had a chance to sit in my collection for a longer period of time than Opulent Dubai. But I have to tell you that from the first moment I sniffed Opulent Dubai, I was totally impressed. Oh my goodness. Both of these fragrances are exceptional. It's just a matter of which bottle do you prefer. I'm not trying to be funny about it, but the truth of the matter is that these two have been done exceptionally and you cannot go wrong with any of the two. And I can't even really tell you which one I prefer. I really can't because they are that exceptional. I absolutely love them both. So let us know, have you tried both and what are your thoughts? Okay, the next two that I'm going to discuss with you are Lattafa Petra and the latest from L'Or d'Espoir, the L'Or d'Espoir collection from Amir Paris Corner, which is Memories of Summer. Now, I get this question quite frequently, and I don't know where the correlation is coming from. I don't know, why, some fan members are thinking that there are similarities between these two. Let me start by saying that, first of all, Petra is a fragrance that even though it is going to give you that Mediterranean feel, it is a fragrance that you could definitely pull throughout the entire year. It has vanilla, it is a boozy fragrance, it has some coconut, it has some plum if I recall correctly. And in Memories of Summer, you have some bergamot, some ginger. All in all, these two are two very different fragrances. So here's what I have to say. I would pick up or consider picking up Memories of Summer if you are looking for a true spring-summer fragrance that is fresh, spicy. It's not a freshy fragrance, but it is a fresh, spicy fragrance. I would pick up Petra if you're looking for a very versatile all year round fragrance that has some booziness, it has some coconut, it has some plum. So it is quite a different fragrance. But still, as I told you in the review, what I get in this fragrance is quite a bit of vanilla. I'm just getting a sugared vanilla all the way. But I can pick up on some of that coconut now, and I'm sure that as it has a chance to sit, it'll become more and more, prominent and it'll bloom. But all in all, these two fragrances, they are very, very different, and I can't even tell you that I prefer one over the other, which is why I typically, answer that I just can't say that I prefer one over the other because they're really not the same scent profile. All right, so the next comparison, I must admit, is the hardest comparison that, at least for me, that I'm going to be sharing with you today, because I do love both of these fragrances. But, I'm going to try to speak to some of the differences that may drive my decision or may drive your decision on which one to pick up. But this is also a question that I've received quite frequently. I must say that once we entered the summer itself, those questions kind of dwindled down, but I'm still getting those questions here and there. And it's between Cadlash, Celeste Toffee, and Swiss Arabian Shahaf Vanilla Toffee. Now, Vanilla Toffee I've had in my collection for quite a while because this launched, I think it was towards the beginning of the year or so forth. But I've had it in my collection much longer than I've had the Toffee from the Celeste collection from Cadlash. Here's what I have to say. To me, the Shahaf fragrance is much more of a dense fragrance, and it is definitely specifically for the seasons of fall and winter. This is not a fragrance that I would, now that it's had a chance to sit, I would not pull this during the spring and summer. Now, the Celeste Toffee is definitely a fragrance that you could get away with pulling on a hot day, not a smoldering hot day, but on a hot day, there's more airiness to it. Sometimes I do wonder if it's a function of the fact that it has not had a chance to sit very long. But I have layered with it a couple of times, you know, in these hot days, and I've been fine. And it is a fragrance that I think is pretty versatile. I think you could probably pull it, you know, any season of the year. While this one, you are really not going to be able to. The other thing that I will say, and here I will tell you that I do prefer the Swiss Arabian, and it's because it's such a rich and dense, filled with character kind of fragrance. It's not just your happy, sweet toffee fragrance. Oh no, there's so much character and oomph, but to be expected, because all of the fragrances in this line from Swiss Arabian are that exceptional. Not that this one is not. This is incredible too, but I do prefer the Shahaf. I'm not going to say version because they're not the same either, but I do prefer the Shahaf. This is a fragrance that, again, has quite a bit of character, and it also has the note of dates, which I don't find in this one. There's just quite a bit going on, and as it relates to the olfactory journey, this one gives me such a complex olfactory journey compared to the Celeste Toffee. So if you're just looking for a happy toffee fragrance, not juvenile, but if you're just looking for a happy toffee fragrance that you can pull any season of the year and just be okay with it and enjoy it, and you're going to smell incredible and yummy, then Celeste Toffee is your fragrance. But if you're looking for one with much more character and oomph that you can use even for formal occasions, I mean, this fragrance is just incredible, then the Shahaf version is definitely the one that you want to go for. All right, so the next two are really, really difficult for me because I do love them both. And they're both truly freshies. They really are freshies. And I'm speaking about Serene Grow from Lueur d'Espoir collection of Emir and Celeste Aqua. I have to tell you that I really do love both of these fragrances, but I'm just going to go straight here and tell you that I do prefer Celeste Aqua. There's just something so addictive about this fragrance. I absolutely love it. And I do love this one. Let's just say that this one is a deep, deep love and this one is a love, right? But it really depends on what you're into. So what I do recommend is that you take a look at the notes and compare. They both perform beautifully, but I'm telling you, I just find Celeste Aqua to be so addictive. Very, very addictive. Just an exquisitely done fragrance. So I hope that that helps you with decisions, but this is definitely my favorite. So the next two fragrances that I have for you is another group of fragrances that I get questions on almost every day. And this is Coconut Lagoon versus Veneno Bianco. Now, if you own both of these fragrances, you know very well that these two are not the same. I'm not even going to talk about what this one was inspired by and take it from there. No, these are just two very different fragrances. Yes, they are coconut. They do have coconut, but the coconut is so different in both of these fragrances. If you're looking for that ultimate, like, creamy coconut that comes across as like suntan lotion kind of scent quality, then Veneno Bianco is your fragrance. If you're looking for that tropical paradise, you know, you're sitting in front of a lagoon having your coconut drink, then Coconut Lagoon is the fragrance for you. These two are really not the same, guys. They're really not the same at all. And no, I cannot even pick a favorite. Well, yes, I can pick a favorite because while I do think that this is incredible, I do prefer Coconut Lagoon. As it refers to a coconut-centric fragrance, I do prefer Coconut Lagoon, you know, because of the way the coconut is done here and the overall scent of the fragrance. This one is more of an elegant fragrance. This is more of a tropical vibe kind of fragrance, but it's not just limited to the summer, in my opinion. And this one is more of an elegant fragrance, but I do enjoy them both, but I do prefer Coconut Lagoon. All right, so the next two that I have for you are from Cadlash Mocha Latte and the latest from Paris Corner, which is Affogato al Caffe. Now, I'm going to tell you between these two. Okay, so Okay, so mocha latte to me is really more centered around the note of coffee. And now that it's had a chance to sit, I'm even picking up on like a tad of booziness. If you own it, can you tell me, do you pick up on that tad of booziness? Because I certainly do. And then Affogato is different because while it does have that coffee, there is so much yummy goodiness going on in Affogato. Affogato to me is truly a full-on gourmand that may even make you smell like food. It is just exquisitely delicious. If you want to smell yummy, Affogato is the one that I would pick definitely over mocha latte. Mocha latte is more of a coffee fragrance. It's not one of those very intense coffee fragrances that are going to make you smell like a barista, but it is definitely a coffee fragrance. Affogato is more of that yummy gourmand. I pick up tonka, I pick up caramel, I pick up so many things in Affogato. It is just exceptional. So I can't even pick one over the other because I do love mocha latte. I think this is one of my top coffee favorites right now. There's three and this is one of them. And Affogato al Caffe is definitely an exquisitely yummy gourmand. I don't know where this comparison came from, maybe because, you know, you guys find that it does have that base note of coffee or centric note of coffee. But what I'm trying to tell you is that to me, Affogato al Caffe does not have a centric coffee note. I think mocha latte does, but not Affogato. I hope that that helps. The next two fragrances that I have for you are Choco Cold from Ministry of Gourmand and Brown Choco from, I think this is Lafed Cadlash. But anyway, so between these two, if you're looking for a chocolate-centric fragrance, and at that, a dark chocolate that is not bitter, it's not a dark chocolate that is super bitter, then I would go with Brown Choco because, and I think I said this as part of my initial review, this one has had a chance to sit a bit longer, but Brown Choco to me is like a dark chocolate that does not have 94% cacao in it, which would make it bitter and way, way intense and strong. This is definitely a chocolate, a dark chocolate centric fragrance, but it is not one that has as much going on as what you're going to find in Choco Cold. Choco Cold is definitely different. So if the question is which chocolate do I prefer, then Brown Choco is definitely the chocolate that I prefer. Okay, so ever since I reviewed Oh Honey, I have been getting this question over and over and over, and I don't really understand because when I spoke about this fragrance, this one is Honeyed Fantasy. You know, it's not a dislike, but it's not a love fragrance, you know, and it's had a chance to sit. But ever since I reviewed Oh Honey, I keep getting the question on if you are into a honey fragrance, which one you should pick. And I'm here to tell you that Oh Honey is definitely my top pick from the honeys that we've seen this year. For me, the note of honey is not an easy note to get right in a fragrance, and I have discussed that with you time and time again. My favorite honey fragrance to date is still Tobacco Honey from Guerlain. But you know, when it comes to these two, I would definitely say Oh Honey. So the thing about Oh Honey is that it is not going to be, this is not an easy, or this is not a blind buy safe type of fragrance. And I think I conveyed that to you while I reviewed it. But it is definitely a fragrance that does have a honey note that is very present. So if you are looking for a honey-centric fragrance, then Oh Honey would definitely be your pick. I also have a feeling that as this fragrance has more of a chance to sit, it is going to get better and better. And a couple of corks that may not work for me right now, I'm just being honest, may smooth out because Maison Asrar has an approach to fragrances that I really, really enjoy. And this, I don't think is going to be the exception. I just think it needs time to sit. Now, when it comes to Honey Fantasy, to me, you know, it is a good fragrance, but just compared to Oh Honey, I think I definitely prefer Oh Honey. I'm really looking forward to having Oh Honey sit for several months in my collection. And then I will circle back with you because I'm very curious too to see what else we get out of Oh Honey. All right, and the last two that I have for you today, is definitely the most asked question recently since Dubai Choco Delight launched. And the comparison here is with pistachio kunafa. And here's what I have to say. So if you have been with me for a while, you may have seen a short where I did an unboxing of when this fragrance was sent to me. It was sent to me in PR, and the PR box included the pistachio kunafa chocolate itself. And I have to tell you that this fragrance smells exactly like that bar of chocolate. While Dubai Choco Delight, the question that I get is, which one smells more like the Kunafa chocolate? And this is the one that really smells like the Kunafa chocolate, in my opinion. This one does not smell like it actually at all. To me, this fragrance has more of a chocolate presence. And there is some spiciness, some warm spiciness going on in it that you do not find in Choco Delight. To me, Choco Delight is more of like a milk chocolate type of fragrance. That's really what I get from it. So I hope that, that difference does help you. But if you're looking for a fragrance that really is or emulates the scent of that pistachio kunafa chocolate bar, then this one would be your pick, because Dubai Choco Delight is not giving me that at all. Now, of course, this one has had a chance to sit for longer than this one. This is a pretty recent launch. And by the way, it's a very, very good chocolate fragrance, but what I get is milk chocolate. While in this one, I get the chocolate bar itself, definitely. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable and helpful for you. I just wanted to come on here and have this conversation because I do get those repeated questions, and I just figured, you know what, I will do a video, I will answer their questions, and I'll have a brief discussion around each. And yeah, so I hope that this did answer your questions, and if not, you know where to find me. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.